Hey, it started with the timer last time.
We got something.
But it did go away just now, but that's what I'm saying. But it would have showed us all on our phones, like it always says, turn the podcast has gone live.
Yeah, I normally get a notification when you go live.
I know.
See, I still don't have one now.
I don't know how to do all that shit.
Apparently I don't either, Shannon. I can hear myself. It's a start, I guess. In my headphones I can.
Does that loop around to it?
You get some goofy update now on Facebook that might change some shit?
Was that somebody else's phone vibrating?
No,
Oh, it's my phone over there. Never mind. It says we're live. Okay. All right, we have a watcher.
Okay, well, we're doing something then. We got one. Yes.
Progress, man.
Man. All right, hey everybody.
Oh,
Oh man, dude, we're a wreck tonight.
Oh,
All right, yeah, we got watchers pouring in, so apparently it's working now.
Oh, we got Shannon Ruggles.
I don't have to burn the whole place down. Okay, welcome back again. This seems to be a weekly thing now, and it's fun.
You gotta work the bugs out. It happens every now and then.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. All right. Well, either way, I got David Blankenship in the house tonight. Modified driver, Dominion stock driver, plenty of Dominion stock wins. Shannon Marano also backstage throwing phones, slinging them. Say what's up, everybody. We got Wesley Farmer, Josh Blankenship, Johnny Luck. Apparently it's working. Apparently we are live. And, yeah, what's up, everybody? I wanted to talk. I don't know if they heard anything about what I was talking about before, but the U-Car drama. We had some, you talked about every week there had been drama.
So far. I don't know if there was anything during the first week. I guess I missed that one.
Because you were in a race already this year, and there was a first lap incident.
And we didn't even make a lap.
Yeah.
And then the whole field got taken out.
And then it rained.
Yeah, and then it ended up raining, I think, I don't even think they made it to the halfway point. Because it wasn't even an
You're
official.
flexing my sheetrock over there. I'm just kidding.
High tech.
I know.
Soft. They didn't even call it an official race.
Mm-hmm.
So, then you got the one race where everybody got disqualified for certain issues.
Yeah.
So there was some stuff there. And then this last race, a little bit of last lap contact.
Mm-hmm.
Guys racing hard. Guys trying to, I don't want to say playing games, but I think if Frazier would have just raced instead of tried to slow up a little bit, pin Mike behind the lap car, I don't think you'd have had that issue. I think Frazier would have won the race.
I don't even know if I don't know what exactly happened there. I guess, has anybody talked to Frazier since then?
I haven't really talked to Frazier, so, I mean, it's kind of hard to say exactly what happened, but from watching it, it looked like he tried pinning Mike behind the lap car, and
he slowed way down, yeah.
I'll say there was a lack of, forward momentum. So, I mean, I don't know.
But then the contact going into turn one, it's just hard to say. It's also hard to see. But, yeah, it's just I don't really know what happened there. But, I mean, it was a closed case race up until the 3 came into the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the car, the 3?
Yeah, the 3. Which, I mean,
no offense to them. I know that, everybody learns. I've been in the way before. I've been that guy.
I mean, you cars are a starter class. You got to start there.
Yeah.
That's,
good point.
It's where everybody, learns to drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I started back in 2005.
Yeah.
So
that's how long you've been racing?
Yeah. Well, I started working on a late model at the end of 2003 with Dave Zimmer. Spent the entire 2004 season working with him, and then got into U-Cars 05 and 06.
Okay. So, and what's up, Scott? So you got into U-Cars 05, 06, and how long did you stay in that division?
Got out after the 06 season, started helping Pittman, worked with DA Motorsports for a little while, racing late models up at South Boston Speedway with Nick Smith as a driver. Just kind of bounced around helping a few people. Bought a Ford Probe back in, I think, end of 08, 09.
Probe, yeah.
Had that for a while. A bunch of people drove that. Courtney, my brother, Zach. So
They were fast back in the day.
Oh yeah, back in the day when I first got into it, the pros were hard to beat, and the Cavaliers
Mm-hmm.
were the square body Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Now everybody's
Frank
got a
Silva and
Cavalier.
everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And what about you, Shannon? When did you get started into racing? I mean, you've probably been doing it a little longer, but have you been modified racing your whole career? Or you did Grand Stocks for a while too, didn't you?
I started off late models.
Oh, did you?
I'd say that's probably 04, probably 05.
Okay.
Ran go-karts a little bit. Didn't do nothing crazy there. Then went, we got in a bad accident at South Boston in a modified. That's when, about 8 months I was released on that. I got a traumatic brain injury.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was
Where
bad,
at?
man. South Boston.
Pull that mic in a little bit. South Boston, that's a fast track.
Yeah, we were hauling the mail.
Yeah.
And,
How fast are you going? Oh, it doesn't really matter. So what happened there? Was that during the race?
It was. We were running 4th, 5th, something like that, and I got turned head on into the wall, and that's all she wrote right there in 3 and 4.
Damn.
Cars destroyed.
Damn.
I was knocked out, wrecked right in front of my family. I mean, it kind of sucked that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not good.
That was a gold car, right? Black and gold.
Yeah, it was a car I got from Donnie Gerard.
What year was this?
Man, 08 maybe.
Oh, 08? Wow. That's insane.
It was a while, and then Bo Tuck come to me because his wife and my wife worked together at Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "You want to drive a Grand Stock?" And that's when I drove the 07 for a little while.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that. Yeah, you did well in the Grand Stock.
Did pretty well. I mean, that was fun. It's a lot of fun driving.
And now you're back in a modified, or you have a modified currently.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I bought another car. Gonna play again.
Where do you primarily plan on racing?
Right now, Dominion. I'm still trying to get the bugs worked out of the car and get to running fast. And right now, I'm probably top 5 car. I mean, I ain't happy with that.
Yeah.
So you always got to work on that.
What about you? You're in the modifieds too. Where are you planning on running?
Right now, the modified sitting. It is for sale if anybody wants a really good car. You kind of got it right there.
Yeah, for sale. I didn't put that on there, but
I also have a.
I didn't put anything on there. I'm about to. This is just water, but I'm about to drink the whole thing after all the problems we had pre-show.
Well, maybe that's the problem. You got water.
I know.
It's
That
not
is the
something-
problem. Yeah, I know.
Not something a little bit more flavorful.
So how much is it for sale for? Not for me. For
Why not? You
the
got
people
plenty of
watching. Well, no, I don't have any money.
money.
I haven't owned a race car in 5 years.
I want to say my dad's asking $10,000 for it right now.
Okay.
So
Your dad technically owns it.
Yeah, my dad. He owns everything. I drive for him.
Nice.
But I also have a Virginia Racer. So hopefully the 5th will finally get on track. COVID's hurt us pretty big with getting parts.
Really?
Taking a car that's been sitting for a few years and getting it ready to get back on track has been a chore. So.
Virginia Racer. When did you get that?
I got that over the winter.
Okay.
I think it was just after the end of the season.
So you haven't even ran it yet, technically.
No, I haven't ran it yet. I like the rules package with the crate motor, the shocks. It's kind of getting back towards a Dominion stock a little bit, but more than a Dominion stock. The Dominion stocks were fun to drive. He can tell you, I was commentating the race for second behind me when I should be looking out the windshield. I didn't quite feel challenged.
Yeah.
So, when you don't
you
feel...
were pretty dominant at the time.
Oh, yeah.
What led you to that course of... Was it Shannon? I mean, I know he was helping you a lot. I mean, what made you... I mean, you ran well at Southside, but no offense, you weren't dominant by any means. I mean, you had guys likes of Dan Rogers and Austin Dodge and stuff like that obviously were, but it was nearly impossible to have been. So, like I said, it's no shade thrown at you, but you were like class of the field at Dominion. So
to start the 2016 season, we cut the car to 1 million pieces. When Gary came in, he started helping me. When Gary came in and started helping me in the middle of 2015, we started getting better, but the car wouldn't take adjustments. So we ended up cutting the car up, which we kind of had to. We had to put a new body on it. Kind of had somebody jump on top of my car a few times in the middle of one. So,
oh, God. Do we want to tell that story?
We can talk about that story. I don't care.
Who was it? Which car was it?
So when I got into racing Grand Stocks, I made a good buddy, and it was 25, Michael.
Something.
Yeah, something. He spun me one night. Well, the guy had spotting for me at the time. He's like, hey.
Just like a good buddy does.
Yeah. He goes, hey, man. He goes, you can't take that. He goes, if you don't retaliate now, the entire class is going to walk over top of you. So, I did the retaliation, tried running him into the wall, and lifted before he hit it, and he didn't hit the wall. Well, then it became a tit for tat. Well, then we made contact one night coming off turn 4. He hit the wall, ended up spinning down into turn 1. Knocked my right rear out. Well, next thing I know, I hear a car throttle up, and I'm looking at turn 2 when I was looking at the grandstands.
Uh-huh.
Well, then he gets out and starts jumping on top of my car, yelling and screaming at me. So, at the end of that year, we got looking at the car. Gary was like, look, let's put a body on it, a complete new body. So we started looking at the bodies that were out there. And we were like, hey, nobody's done it. It says it in the rules we can run these AR bodies. Why not do it? So that's when we started running.
It did not say that until Gary Burke talked them into it, for the record.
Well, he didn't talk us into
I
it.
agree.
Okay, I'm just, this is just,
He didn't talk
let's
us.
not let that go under the wings a little bit.
Well, no,
I'm not throwing you out because it wasn't it wasn't even your idea, and it was.
Well, no,
I've argued
it
with Gary
was.
Burke live in the thing. He knows where my view is on it,
Oh, yeah.
and I
Well-
talk about it on the podcast all the time. Just because I also think the old school ones look better too. So I'm biased in my own way.
I'm conflicted when it comes to that because I like the old school look and then I like the new school look. With the old school bodies, when you beat and bang, if you knock a fender in on the tire, you immediately have to come to pit road. Otherwise, you're going to blow a tire. With these new style bodies, you can beat, bang, and the fenders literally pop right back out.
No, dude, you got to race enduro class first, and then cut the whole fender off.
So I
With
never.
a Sawzall to where there's just you know what I'm talking about from way back in the day. I mean, my dad used to literally cut the fender to where there was literally almost no fender because they used to bang them up so bad that if you had a close fender to a tire, it was gonna get cut in the old school days every time. Your dad used to race too. You're a second generation. No.
Nope.
Something's different.
So there's another David Blankenship that used to race, and everybody thinks that I'm related to him, and I'm not.
Oh.
There's no relation between us. So,
But is he proud of you?
Oh, I
Not
have
your
no
dad.
idea.
The other David Blankenship.
Oh, I have no idea. Probably not.
You got to reach out to him, dude. You either got to find out if he's proud of you or fist fight him, and find out who's the best David Blankenship.
I believe Hollywood.
Whoever wins the fight gets to keep the name.
I believe Hollywood lives next to him. So
Oh, so we could work this out. Hollywood, are you watching?
I don't know if he's watching.
That
or not.
Blankenship was pretty prestigious, man.
Yeah, he's a 7-time champ down at
I was gonna
South
say
Boston.
he's a pretty tough one to deal with, but he might be old by now.
I know it's a matter of time too. He didn't spin out a lot either.
Hey now.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Why did I bring you?
I didn't want to throw shade on the fidget spinner thing, but I just figured it'd be
Man,
perfect.
I
I
Sorry,
searched the
had to.
emoji where I make the thing. I searched fidget spinner just 'cause I thought it'd be funny, and somebody told me to. I'll throw it on somebody else, and it popped up, and I'm like, I can't not use it now.
So
But
when
you've lost that name ever since you were dominant in the Dominion stock. I haven't really heard that, so if
I
that
don't-
makes you feel better.
I don't know, when we first brought that car right there out, the one that Billy Morris used to race at Southside, I kind of had a shock issue, and the bump in turn 2, it did not like me. The car went from being stable to immediately sideways and going backwards.
So you went back to your old ways. As
I did for one race.
Back
and,
on the saddle.
and then we figured out what the problem was, and we got it straight, and didn't have any more issues.
Okay.
But it happens. But I will say, when I seen you put that emoji on there with the fidget spinners, I immediately went to Amazon and I ordered a bunch of fidget spinners. And go figure, they ain't showed up yet, because I was going to hand you a bag of fidget spinners when I
Oh, that
walked
would have
in.
been hilarious. I would have given them out to people. I was going to give you a Turn Left podcast sticker, but you already have like 10 of them.
I got 2, I think.
No, well, I also know that's another thing, too, is you won the competition of the taco eating thing.
Oh,
So we owe you
I won something.
a sticker and technically an Ayers Racing hat, by the way, so congratulations on that. So either way, and it seems like everybody's mad at the 07 car because the 07 car didn't get disqualified, and then the 07 car was involved in the drama in the U-car race
disqualified on.
with that night when they did compression and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, they were pulling. I know we were on the scales when they brought the 07 into the garage and shut the doors.
Mm-hmm.
We were fixing our car, getting it ready to go back out for the second race. And I know when they were checking everything, want to say I heard the tech official say he was good.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt it.
I'll say I wasn't paying attention, but if you're good, you're good. So.
I don't doubt that he's good at all. I doubt that the talks of, no way he's good, and then plus like I said, the drama from last race. Now he's won 2 in a row. He's the points leader.
He's a champ of U-Cars, and he's got many wins at multiple tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're good,
there was
you're
an
good.
incident in Victory Lane. Apparently there was a bit of a small fight.
I heard about that, too. Heard about somebody sticking their head in somebody else's car and possibly a punch or two getting thrown. I don't know.
Where do you stand on that? Shannon?
I wasn't there, man. I was working. I wish I was there. I've been
David's
watching
tongue was
videos of
twisted
weeks
up.
just trying to catch up.
Yeah, I'd say well,
like I said, I think Bo's saving face because
I will say I know I think 2019 when I drove one race for Gary because he was sick, I got thrown in the car right away. Like they were getting a line up, and my dad was like, "Put your suit on, you're driving." He's throwing up. Todd kind of come down on me, and I spun, trying not to wreck him. He's racing for points. So, I mean, I went to Victory Lane. I kind of got in his window and kind of had a few words with him because, I figured, it'd be a little bit door-to-door racing, not, not just chopping down on somebody like that. And like I said, I wasn't trying to wreck his car. Up there, man, you wreck big.
Yeah.
And I found out that wall don't move at the beginning of 2019, so I actually tried going over the wall to the fuel pumps.
Yeah.
And
I know a lot about that one.
Yeah, I'm saying I checked the underside of his car out too. But I mean, if you want to have words, have words. I don't feel like you should be throwing punches though. It's kind of a family atmosphere. You're on the front stretch, Then again, it's a Saturday night. Tempers can flare, so
it's definitely, I feel like, relatable to when the Lee Pulliam thing happened and he drove off with the guy in the car. What are you supposed to do?
You got to protect yourself, and when you're strapped in...
Well, he wasn't getting punched, but still, when you're strapped in, like you said... Sorry, go on. I always interrupt people.
Well, no, you're fine. When you're strapped in, I mean, it's a situation, I guess it goes by each situation. Somebody's throwing punches at you, and you can fire your car up and drive off. I mean, that person put themselves in that situation.
But couldn't the same be said about... You see what I'm saying? I'm not on either side. I see what you're saying, but couldn't the same be said about, you know what I mean? Like, what's worse, driving off and potentially running over the dude's legs and breaking them, or giving a couple uppercuts? You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're strapped in, like the night with me and Mike, I was still strapped in. I don't know how he got out the car so quick, but he was helmet off the whole nine. I'm like, whoa! He's yelling, screaming at me, and I still had my helmet on. I wasn't really scared for my life. Granted, the tow company that was on my car was also working the track, and they were standing behind him, waiting on him to swing. So, I mean, but I won't go nowhere. Our cars were locked together, so.
Yeah.
You're kind of limited on what you can do there. You can swing, but you can't swing but so far. I mean, if you're going to go guns a-blazing.
Here's my opinion. Get you a friend like Tanner Griffith. Somebody tag Tanner Griffith. Because there was an incident when I was in street stocks where I got into a car. It's a long story, but somebody tried to get in my window. I think you know who he is. Somebody tried to get in my window, and Tanner just stood at my window and wouldn't even let him. You know what I mean? He's like, just let him get out of the car. Like, I'll let y'all talk, but like, you're not doing this whole window game. So he literally just stood there and blocked him. He kind of yelled around him and stuff like that, but I was never like, oh shit, now this guy's inside my car with me, smallest cage match ever. I never had that situation just because I had a buddy, standing right there. So that's always better, in my opinion, because now it's two standing men.
Yeah.
But in I had one situation at Shenandoah happen, and there was nobody there. Like, the car got swarmed with only like maybe 3 people, but still swarmed in my opinion, and there was nobody there, like, from my team. So I was like, what? So I did drive off in that one. I don't know. For a second I thought I ran over somebody's foot, but I don't think I did. But either way, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out myself as far as where I stand. Because I'm with you. Like, I'm not the guy to get out of the car in victory lane and start throwing punches. I don't think. I've never really been in the situation, but I don't know. If you come at someone while they were still in the car, they have plenty of right to punch at you for you to get away.
I agree with that, Jennifer.
That's also her old driver, so it's partly biased. But I'm also friends with Chapman, and so it's partly biased on my opinion too. But
I'll say I'm friends with both the people that were involved in. I mean,
I've talked to Ryan a few times. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm friends, but I mean I'm acquaintances with. So
he's a good dude. I mean, and when it comes down to it, that's his car. He's passionate about his car. He's passionate.
Go ahead. I would say he's not the only guy to lean into somebody's window.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not the first time. So it's not like I throw any shade towards him for doing it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everybody does it all the time.
No doubt.
Been in y'all both have been in the sport for a long time. I mean, y'all seen 1,000 people do it. But
well, that's like if you go to a racetrack tomorrow with your brother and your brother gets into it, you're going to back your brother. And then the guy that's going after your brother, his guys are going to back him.
I don't know. It depends on who's it with. Because somebody else has all my gear right now, and they're driving a different car. Hashtag T-Money. Going to race in my name. Y'all don't know that yet, but you'll see it on the live. It's his first ever race.
Oh, Lord.
We'll see how it goes, though. But he's got all my stuff, other than my suit.
I'll say, you talk about having a big guy. I used to, when I first
He's
got
driving the 32, Ronnie's car.
Oh, boy. I'll say, when I first got into racing, I had a big guy that always came with me, and he helped me all the way up till 2017. Yeah, because
Talking about Bo Talk?
No. Okay. Buddy of mine, Donald Groves.
Shout out to Bo. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, love you, Bo.
I'll say, Shannon knows Donald.
Yeah, these guys specifically wanted Bo. You're not letting me down, Bo. I'm not mad or disappointed. David said that he wasn't mad, but he was disappointed, okay?
I was.
And I know, like I said earlier, we're going to have to bring you back from the dead for it. But when is Dia de los Muertos? Isn't that like right after Halloween or something?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh.
If it's not on
I learned it in Spanish fast.
Y'all don't have,
man.
Yeah. Y'all don't eat as many tacos as I do, but that's the Day of the Dead in, Latin cultures. I think it's sometime around Halloween yet. So we couldn't do it yet. We couldn't bring Bo back yet, but next week maybe he'll join us.
I'll say I've known Bo for a long time. I was working at an independent shop, and he actually was a manager at the CarQuest. So when I would call, that was who always answered the phone. When I first started talking to him, I thought he was an old guy. Then he showed up one day at the shop, and he threw my parts down. And he looked at me, he goes, I know a lot about you, but you don't know anything about me. And I was like, huh? Turned out he lived in the girl my stepbrother was dating. Or no, my stepbrother was dating a girl, and he lived in her basement.
Okay.
He was written out of, her basement.
Bo ain't that old, bro. Don't be throwing shade at Bo.
No, I like Bo.
I said Bo's younger than you think.
I like Bo.
Obviously.
Bo's my buddy, man. I like Bo. He's a good dude.
Yeah, y'all been around together
he's
for a
always
while.
mad either, man. He's always good spirits.
Who said he's always mad? Oh, Wesley Farmer said he's always mad. What's up, Bryson Huff?
The night Shannon set me on fire, I walked into Shannon's house, and Bo had his head in a trash can.
I can't tell who said it, but if Chapman put his face in it, he should be prepared to get his punch in his throat, too.
That was Jennifer
true.
Allen.
Okay, that is true. I mean, like I said, I'm not defending either side, or, you know how it is. I got to stay the neutral here,
Well, I mean,
this is CNN.
So we all got friends everywhere in racing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your friends are going to run into each other.
Well, that's why I didn't know I know that y'all know Chapman, but I knew that y'all probably knew Ryan too, so I wanted to get somewhat of an unbiased opinion about what you thought. But you gave that, so I appreciate it.
I'll say at the end of the day, we don't know what was said. We weren't standing there, so, I mean, we don't know what Ryan's demeanor was. I mean, I think that's his car. It just got destroyed by the 29 running over it. I mean, literally over it.
Yeah, BJ and Bo were roommates for a while before ever finding out. Was BJ dating your sister?
Uh-oh.
Do what?
BJ was roommates with Bo. He said Bo lived in his basement, and was BJ the one that was actually dating your sister?
No. It wasn't my sister.
Oh, what?
No.
What was the story? Do you remember?
My stepbrother was dating the girl he was dating at her parents' house.
Okay.
Bo lived in her basement.
So she lived at BJ's house?
No.
Are you trying to say Bo was a squatter?
Yeah, what are you saying?
I mean, he was
What
paying.
are you saying right now?
If he's paying, he's not a squatter, right?
No, Bo's house is tight, actually. And he's got a tight garage, too. He's got a 2-car garage.
Damn right.
I've seen it
Nice
a couple
house,
times.
man.
Dude, he could do a hella podcast in there. Chapman said he's going to do one out of the RV, but he said his first guest is going to be Ryan Pritt. I told him he could borrow all the equipment. I don't know if I told him that. Chapman, if you want to do it, you can borrow all the equipment if you have a generator to power it while you're in there.
Well, I told you I thought when Bo was here, he makes the podcast pretty good. Not that you're bad. but I think he adds an extra element because he's been around Southside and around around racing so long.
You're gone, dude.
If you would,
Podcast is done. I'm out.
You don't have to add that in, or else it makes me think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I want you to know you do a good job, and I think when he's here because he's
good.
Yeah, he's been around it so long.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of them, and he knows local stuff. And he knows all the local guys too, especially. And he's always got a good opinion.
And he remembers a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does have a good memory of, especially the old days of Southside and stuff like that, or just the old days in NASCAR in general. Mm-hmm. But either way, so you said you're planning on running the Virginia Racer at Dominion?
Mm-hmm.
No traveling, no...
As of right now, no traveling. Just strictly Dominion. Up to last week, I was really debating on going somewhere else, but it is what it is, so
yeah,
we'll stick with Dominion for right now and see what happens from here on out.
And because I don't know, because we had so much technical difficulties that in the heat of the moment, I don't have time to diagnose, so I still am not on top of what they are. But this episode is sponsored by, and this is episode 72. I didn't even say that, I don't think. But it's sponsored by Sarah K. Speed Shots and On Point Woodworks. Check out this hitter right here, dude.
I think you said it the first go around.
Oh, I know, but it didn't work. Oh, shit. Broke my light.
Damn, that's pretty sweet right there, man.
That is pretty cool. Well, that is pretty cool. I like it.
Oh, look at that. I can see it up in the thing. And the sponsor, wrong way. Sponsor, On Point Woodworks.
We'll move this before you knock your H2O over.
Thank you, buddy. It's actually just straight vodka. But yeah, I'm going to put that up on the wall. I just got it today. But go like them, follow them on Facebook. You can get yourself a nice piece of woodwork right there. All right.
It's always good to have some good wood, ain't it?
Always good to have some good hard wood.
Tinfoil on that?
Yep. And if you need that, message On Point Woodworks. And he can even send you pictures of his hardwood as a sample before, you actually get the product.
I might like his hardwood.
He's really big on Snapchat. I heard he's really big on Snapchat showing his hardwood. So everybody check him out over there, On Point Woodworks. He is now moving to South Carolina, South Kakalaki. So he'll be a little bit closer than Oregon, where he's been so far.
I'll say, is that where he's at now, Oregon?
Yeah, he's in the military. So thank you for your service. What do you think about the tire shortages? I guess at Dominion they're not really having them yet with the Dominion racers. I mean I just want to say that word 1,000 times. American racers, they're not having the problem with the tire shortage yet, are they?
I haven't heard anything. I know last year there was a shortage on tires for the modifieds and the Virginia racers, only because there was a fire in the plant and they didn't have enough of those 8-inch tires produced, so they put the Virginia racers on a 10-inch tire, which now they're back on the same tires as modified. I haven't heard whether there's a shortage, but I guess we'll see here soon. Seems to be a shortage on everything.
I was listening to Snoop Dogg the other day. He said a fire in the plant was a good thing, but I guess in this situation it's not.
Yeah, I guess not this one.
Okay.
I know Langley has something going on with tires, too. I saw they posted today.
Yeah, Langley. There's a couple tracks that don't have any. Shenandoah doesn't have any for their late models or their U cars.
Well, I think Langley did a different for the support classes, the lower classes. The late models can still get 4 tires.
Yeah, they said the sport classes could only get 1 tire a week from now on.
Man.
But, yeah, it's mostly Hoosier tracks that are having this issue, I think.
Yeah, I think right now it's just Hoosier. I haven't heard anything about their American racers yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, we'll find out here soon.
All right. What up, Jesse? And, what up, Mom? And, so you don't really know about the tire shortage other than just you've noticed it, too. It's, I think, Tri-County Speedway. They don't have any tires, and they rescheduled the race.
I ain't heard that.
Because all these guys are like, I'm not putting scuffs on an $80,000 late model.
I don't blame them.
It's like, well, you're behind the curve, dude. Late models nowadays are $120,000.
If you want to race, you want to race. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You're all on a level playing field if everybody runs scuffs.
That's what I think. It's like, I understand what he's saying, but it's like, are they worried about they're going to pop, or just they're going to be so slippery that they can't handle driving them, or what is the complaint there?
These new setups, you're running so much camber, they're blowing tires, and a lot of people are stuffing them in the walls.
Okay, so if you use a scuff or if you have to use a used tire for that type of race, the amount of camber and stuff they're running, they could potentially pop tires.
There's new bump stop setups. I think that's what's their concern. So much tire load, and we're wearing them a lot quicker.
Hot take.
You don't think the scuffs, though, having a heat cycle, it'll last a little bit longer?
Maybe.
I guess it depends on the
I don't think anything lasts longer than a new tire.
I guess the abrasiveness of the track would make a difference, too.
Yeah, it depends on the conditions, but you can't control that stuff.
No, you can't. Dominion's starting to show. Well, me and you saw it the other week when we were walking around the track. You could see where it was getting very grippy. Or not grippy, but abrasive. Like a cheese grater.
Huh. And rips tires apart.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think tire sliding across it, it's going to do exactly like a cheese grater. It's just
like Southside used to, but it's slower.
Yeah. Southside was slower. I missed that old place.
Oh, yeah. Don't even talk about it, I'll cry.
Mm.
All right, what about your favorites? What was your favorite win? You got quite a few Dominion stock wins. Is there one that stuck out to you? Like, was there a heated battle that you won?
My first one.
Wesley Farmer said you skied. Your first win? Sorry.
Yeah, my first one was definitely my favorite just because we started the year off with a blown motor. Then we went to the second race, got black flagged because when I was going in the corners, I had a puff of smoke go over the left front fender. So we got parked for that one. The third race, I blew a power steering line. And the third race was a twin night. So in the process, we had to replace the power steering line, fired the car up, found the power steering pump bad, replaced the power steering pump. I was pulling out on the track with 1 minute left to start the fourth race. We ended up leading flag to flag. But with 5 to go, the steering started getting tight. I told him, I said, hey, because he was spotting that night. I said, hey, man, I think we're going to blow another line. He said, well, just back your corner up. You got a straightaway lead. Because that night, me and Condrey, we just checked out off the get-go. Because some of the other cars got Munley, Richard, and Gary was racing in his car. They got caught up by some of the slower cars. So I started backing my corner up, and I think we won with a half straightaway lead. But it was just the sheer fight to try to get to that point. Like, we almost missed the second race. And then to lead flag to flag and win, that, it felt awesome.
That was your first win.
That was my first win.
It is awesome. It's hard to beat the first win, they say.
Oh, yeah. I'll say I went so many years without winning. I had a bunch of top fives. If you ask Jamie Neely, I did win one race at Southside. But
I'm not going to ask him. No, I'm just going to tell me about it, though.
So, evidently, I was running decent. I think it was 2015. But somehow, Daniel got into Jamie and spun him. It was like at the end of the race. Well, I ended up passing Bobby and beating him to the checker flag. But Daniel won the race. And Jamie was trying to protest and get Daniel put to the rear because Daniel got into him and spun him. Like, he never got put to the rear of the field.
Yeah.
When you spin somebody, you get put to the back.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept telling me the entire year, you won that race, and still to this day he'll tell me.
That you won that race?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like when you get DQ for something still. It's like...
I know about that, too.
DQs suck, but they are what they are, man.
They are what they are, and I've won by DQ. Like, I've won from somebody else getting DQ'd once before.
I have, too. I got my one U-car win came off of a DQ.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I took my brother's car up to Dominion one night, finished third, and the two guys ahead of me got DQ'd on sway bars.
My first ever U-car win, I think, came from DQ, so that was a little... I don't know. It was like drinking a non-alcoholic beer. It was like... Let's celebrate,
I mean, I was happy,
That win was sponsored by O'Doul's,
Cheers,
but,
baby.
I was happy because so far I've been able to give my brother crap about it because he hasn't won yet. I know he's watching.
He's on there.
Yeah.
Don't you have two brothers?
I got 3.
Jesus.
And 1 sister.
Dang, bro. Shout out to the
Brady
family.
bunch.
Yeah, what up, Ronnie? We should have brought Ronnie over. He doesn't live far away, but we didn't have time. I didn't have time to let him know and all this, that, and the other. And he's probably getting ready for tomorrow. Like I said, he's got T-Money in the seat.
Uh-oh.
I swear I've heard that name, but I don't know.
Tanner Griffith.
Oh,
He's
okay.
He's one of my crew members for a while back in the day, up until I started driving for Bud and stuff. but he knows what's up. He's never driven a race car, but he's played iRacing for years, and he's got a mud bog truck and stuff like that. So
That's completely
he
different.
used to have a mud bog truck. Oh, I know.
Completely different. I love all the people that, racing's easy. It's easy. All right, well, give him and do it. Let's see you do
He'll be
it.
fine. He's the only one that could ever compete with me on like NASCAR video games and iRacing.
It's a video game.
I know that, but it's extremely. When was the last video game you played? NASCAR video game. There's only 2 of them that matter. Because since then and before then, they were all just fake. And it was NASCAR 14 and 15 for PlayStation or Xbox.
I don't remember. Well, I'll take that back. My son, he had me play NASCAR Heat with him not too long ago. And
That's not. That is a video game. That's like arcade. This is more like a simulator, more like iRacing.
It's fun. It's fun. It ain't the same.
I don't have
What,
a good
is
enough
that
computer.
14 and 15 or Heat?
Never played Heat.
You played 14 and 15, I guess?
I think so. I think I've got them on PlayStation.
Yeah. Those ones are the closest ones I'd ever played as far as a video game.
He likes that
Up until iRacing.
Tony Stewart game.
Oh, yeah? Is that nostalgic for you?
Well, the, what was it? Tony Stewart All-American or something?
Ronnie Vance said, hopefully we got this. You're clouding up Ronnie's brain, dude. I made this race happen. You're trying to make it seem like Tanner's not ready. Tanner's ready, dude.
I'm sure he's ready.
He's ready.
He gonna come out there like Stone Cold tomorrow. I tell you,
dude.
Tanner.
I've been trying to tell him. I was like, he's gonna do good.
You never know. Some people, they come out, just do a walk-off. They're just naturals.
Yeah.
And then some, it takes a lot of years, like me, practice.
Yeah.
If they just
Me
spin
too.
around.
I never got into that thing, but I was bad for a long time.
I
wouldn't even. I guess apparently I wasn't even trying hard enough to spin out. So
I've always said if you're not spinning them, you're not trying.
yeah, exactly. At least you're full send.
Yeah, I mean you gotta push it to its limit. You gotta break that traction.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't doing much of that at the beginning of my career. I think by my second year of racing, I was like finishing second, third, and stuff like that to like Mike and O and stuff too. So I had finally gotten a hang of it. But yeah, the first year I was pretty trash.
In all the years I spun Southside, well, I take that back. The night you spun me at Southside and I blew a brake line, I did hit the wall. But in
he
all
cut
the years,
down on me.
Uh-oh.
I was on the inside. He cut down on me.
This episode will end with a cage match on the other end of the studio over here.
but in all the other spins, I never hit anything.
So what happened? Shannon spun you in a grand stock race?
Yeah, it was my first year, and I had enough trouble going straight. I guess he got caught up in a wreck, and he was behind me. And coming out of turn 2, he just nudged me in the left rear, and around I went. And as I was sliding backwards,
Was it his fault though, or were you just gonna do that?
I think Shannon was mad. He was in the back.
I had
and he
places
said, "Damn
to
it,
go."
David!"
Okay, so you
Didn't have many laps to get
I was making
there,
a joke
man.
like he was gonna spin out anyway, but so you were definitely involved.
I was. I know I hit him.
Were you all friends at the time?
Oh, we've always been friends for a long time. I mean, we've caught each other on fire twice. So I mean, it's yeah. That's
All right, I'm gonna ask you about that next. So to keep on going, David. Sorry, I interrupted you again.
Well, the pedal went to the floor, and I just gently kissed the wall.
Well, that's not bad.
I took it back in the pits. I was like, "Thanks." I said, "Now you can help me fix it."
Yeah. Did you? Where were y'all? What position were y'all competing for?
In the back.
I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. I was coming up through the field. I was in 07.
Why were you blocking David?
Hey, man, last lap. Got to keep him behind you.
It was far from the last lap, but I had a good drive coming off turn 2. I ducked down low, and he was there, and I just stuck it.
I tried to pass David on the last lap one time, and I got him until the straightaway. And then he got me. It sucked.
Lewis Bar.
Because I only had that 1 year in Grand Stock, but that was the year you were in Grand Stock. That was the year you had like the light blue car.
Yeah, that was when we came with the brand new aero body,
Yeah.
which I really like that body. So
I'm not
wish we'd
throwing
have
shade
hung-
on the body. It's
I wish
just like
we'd
I
have
feel
hung
like,
a little different.
well, yeah.
It looked like a monster truck.
I say everybody wishes you did. I'm just kidding. I didn't really care. I think it's more at that point. It's like it's hard to decipher from. Dominion's got this problem, but they don't have any problems. So who am I to say? But like they've got 3 of the same divisions. They got Dominion Racer, they got late model, they got Dominion Stock, which most of those cars look like that. I think Todd's the only one left, and then
Well, he
Tommy
was.
Smith, that guy with the Camaro nose on that car, makes me want to cry.
Oh yeah, that definitely doesn't look right. But Todd's cars.
You know what I'm talking about there?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
He was
Y'all
definitely
had
the
my
first
back like an
person to
apron
start.
when I brought that up just now. Just want to
Right.
say. What'd you say?
They were definitely the first team to put the new body on and start going that route in that class.
Well, the thing was,
I know, because they were the one that made the rule for it.
So,
Not they.
The track.
I'll point this at Gary.
The track. No, the track had the rule in there. Like, it was in there for a couple of years, and we got talking as a team, and we decided that if we could stay at the same weight as everybody else, but have a lighter body,
obviously it would be a benefit. Yeah.
Why not do it? Why not take all your weight from being up top and bring it down low? Get that center of gravity down.
Of course.
And that's what we did. It wasn't just Gary that said, "Hey, here's
well,
what
we
we're
know
doing."
that's the way race cars work. These were stock cars, supposed to be street or Dominion. I mean, these are grand stocks, but I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Street stock type divisions.
Oh yeah.
So that was my rebuttal against it. But
I don't agree with the late model style bodies. I kind of like the bodies that have the identity of what they are, not just like when Dan had the late model body and Bobby had the late model style body. Like you said, there's 3 different classes right there. You already got a limited class and you got a late model class. I think if you're going to run the aftermarket bodies, you should have one that represents, a certain car, not just a late model.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that much diversity between late models and limited late models being, Dominion Racers or whatever they are, not Dominion Racers. Virginia Racers. Oh, yeah, and then Dominion Stock. If you're going to have that many late model classes, make your stock class truly a stock class. Yeah. But even at Langley, what's the deal with Langley? Because you're allowed to run those types of bodies, but not that many guys do. What's up with that? Does anybody know?
I don't know what bodies the Super Streets have to have.
I thought that, Andrew Condrey had one of those late model type bodies years ago.
But he was running Grand Stock. The Grand Stock, so our Dominion stock is close to what the Grand Stocks are down there, but I think we're underpowered compared to those. I think they got more power.
But y'all have too much for a Super Street.
But we got wedge bolts. You can't have wedge bolts in the Super Street. So if
rear or front?
Rear.
Okay.
We're not allowed to have any in the front.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But with back and forth, I wish the tracks would get closer on the rules, because motors down there, I think they can run Vortec heads in the Grand Stock, whereas at Dominion, we still got to have the stock steel heads.
In the Grand Stock or in the Super Street?
In the Dominion stocks at Dominion.
Yeah.
So
there's a big. I don't know the differences between the two. Bo could probably elaborate on it if he would call in or
I think also
whatever. But there's a big difference on the engines from Dominion
the
and
suspension
Langley.
too. I think they can run like underslung sway bars, the tubular uppers, and whatnot down there.
Well, I really like the Super Street division down there because back in the day you had to run cast iron exhaust manifolds. You couldn't even run headers. So that alone in itself will reduce how much motor you can run. Because you can't run a super late model motor on cast iron heads or whatever they're made out of. Standard, not heads, exhaust manifolds. Because, like I said, they have a no header rule. Yeah. I don't know if that's still in place, but that, in my opinion, kept the motor costs down because it really couldn't do so much. And then they also have, what is the other rules that they have that really make it? Well, the one that you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, to where you couldn't have rear jack bolts, because that's a whole. It really doesn't take that long, but it's just one more thing. But then you just get into changing springs instead of jacking them, so or cutting them.
Throw shim in there or something of what they always used to do. Throw shims in.
Yeah, I know. It's just you can get around that, not get around that rule, but you can still create wedge and stuff in different ways without jacking it. Jacking it just, if anything, makes it easier, in my opinion.
It does.
It doesn't really. David's good at jacking it. Here we go.
There's no cost incentive, like a jack bolt set, for the back of a street stock, whatever, is how much?
I don't know how much they're about.
$150.
See, I don't think they're all that
for
expensive.
The buckets and the bolts.
It ain't much at all. No,
that's what I'm saying. So there's no. What I am concerned about with street stock divisions is keeping the cost down to where they can be like the old street stock division at Southside, which is somewhat like Super Street does. Granted, they're way faster than we were, but like I said, when you have a stock exhaust manifold that you have to run, that limits the motors down to where you're not spending $13,000 on a motor. Not that we were in street stock, but like say if you go to Grand Stock or Dominion Stock, you have these guys having huge motors in these cars. because they're allowed to, and it's because pretty much a late model at this point. So it's just like it takes not all the fun out of it. Yeah, it takes all the fun out of it actually, because there's two guys that are 4/10 faster than everybody else, and then there's everybody else driving around literally like shit boxes in comparison. You know what I mean? It's just like this isn't even real.
Well, I think the Dominion stocks and I definitely know the U cars. I think they've gotten a little out of hand. I think need to figure out a way to bring the cost down on building the cars and everything.
On U car too?
Yeah, I think they've gotten a little out of hand.
The rules have been the same for forever, almost.
I can tell you when I got into racing U cars, I paid $500 for my car. I had $2,500 in the trailer, like half of what is in it now. I mean, they look more like mini mods now than they do, just a little.
How so? Because the stock rims had to be changed because they were
breaking.
breaking.
Oh no, I agree there. That was
so that and side skirts, and now you got a mini mod.
Well, I'm just saying the way they handle with the cut springs. Like, go back to stock suspension, no cut springs.
You're not allowed to cut springs. Look at this cheater over here.
You got to have the
racing springs in the rear.
What are they?
What?
Spindle savers or something?
All right, we're going over the Ruggles stable tomorrow before the race at Shenandoah.
No, I'm not
Is
saying.
he going down there? Racing springs in the rear.
I'm just saying what I've seen people do. I'm not saying who has it or who doesn't.
Smart or strong.
Cheers.
What's up, Trey Bose? Yeah, I don't know. Back to my point. I don't think that the spring bucket thing is, in my opinion, a good. It doesn't really matter. It's fine, but it just now you've got to buy a bunch of springs. Back when we were in street stock, we had a bunch of different springs. Call us cheaters. I just did it to you, but so we had a couple different springs, or we would cut them, or whatever we had to do. But it's just like that much more work as opposed to just taking a couple cranks. You know what I mean? And it's like. If your car is slow and it needs that wedge, whatever it needs, you're going to do it. Whether it's cut a spring or shorten a spring or whatever you're going to do, you're going to do it anyway. So you might as well just make it easier on the guys to just crank down the bolt, in my opinion. Because that doesn't cost much. The motors and stuff like that is what is really getting out of hand.
I'll say, as racers, I mean, we're all looking at the rules and we're trying to find ways to make our cars faster and playing that gray area.
And if you're going to call it Dominion stocks, they also need literally a rule on rear tire, front of cage, back of cage distance. You know what I mean? There's these guys that have the back. There's guys that have the roll cage. When you go to Bristol and you watch their like super Dominion stock race or whatever it is, it's like crazy late models that are just bodies. There's a guy that has a roof pillar, and his roll bar for the actual cage is like 1.5 feet behind that. He's sitting on the rear tires.
Damn.
Just for the rear, rear weight.
There was a car I saw racing at Southside. I don't remember who it was, but I remember watching it go down pit road, and it looked like where the frame rail kind of turned and went like towards the rear tire, like there was a plate welded off of that, and the cage was sitting down on that. That's how far the cage was actually moved back.
Well, they've been doing that for a while. You know that.
Oh yeah, cages. I mean,
ain't gotta say
Shane was like, I actually welded that cage in.
I did not, but I know about them.
I'll say, I can tell you right now, my car and the one Todd was racing that he just destroyed were probably one of the two oldest cars out there. I have an old Bobby Curtis car.
Oh, I drove that car, the one that he's talking about, once, terribly.
I'll say, I had Bobby Curtis come in my trailer 2017. I don't know if you remember it. He was like, I don't get it. I race Southside, I get my butt kicked by one of my old cars. He was like, come here, and I get kicked by one of my old cars.
At Dominion?
Yeah, Dominion. Because I forget who had his car. Oh, I think Austin was driving it at the time when Farmer had it. And he was, Austin was winning at Southside, and I had one of his old cars at Dominion whipping up on him in 17.
And you don't have that car anymore?
No, we still have it. The same car.
How many race cars do you have, David?
We have a total of 4.
Just like Sanford and Son, you go over his dad's house. I'll tell you, man.
How many race cars do you have, Shannon?
1.
I don't have any.
This is a loser.
I tell you what, man. Damn it.
I don't have any for the record, guys.
I need to step it up.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay. I don't have any either. Dad's got them, not me.
Fair enough.
I'm fortunate that I got a really great dad, and he allows me
Is my dad watching this?
To live out my dream.
Yeah. Is my dad watching this? I just want to just let you know. See how other, you know what I mean? other dads. Just kidding. Okay, I have a new. No. We'll go to the old one first. We asked what your favorite win was. What's your favorite track?
Man, that's a hard one because I've only raced 2 tracks, Southside and Dominion. I hate to say Dominion because that's where I got my first win. I think I'll have to go with Southside because that's where it all started for me. As a kid, standing in the bed of a truck, looking over a fence, watching cars go by, and sitting in the grandstands watching a yellow number 3 with the name David Blankenship on it. Compete for
Your
wins.
hero. Your father.
No.
Second father, you can put it that way.
He's the
Could
one
have
that
been.
inspired you. So, do you actually remember seeing him when you were a kid?
Uh-huh.
And
I remember
he had
seeing
the same name and everything. And you're like, dang.
I remember sitting up in the stands and being like, man, that's kind of cool. Like, that's my name right there.
You've never done a deep dive on Ethan Ayres on Google, have you?
Who?
Ethan Ayres?
Who's that? Is that the older?
Me?
Is that the older of the 2 brothers?
Here we go.
You tell me. No, but have you ever done a deep dive on Ethan Ayres?
No, I have not.
There's a porn star called Ethan Ayres. Same spelling and everything.
You probably got an OnlyFans account, don't he?
I don't know. This is like back when I was in high school, which didn't help. But, yeah. There was a gay porn star, for the record.
Oh, come on. Now.
All due respect. Google him right now. I swear to God.
I'd rather not. I
Same
don't want to look
exact-
at no gay porn
Here's
right
the
now.
spelling right here. So I am Ethan Ayres, the podcaster, not the porn star, but he exists, and yeah.
Still doing it to this day?
I don't know, because like I said, I think he's aged out, but I don't Google my name anymore because I'm horrified. Nowadays, there's filters that, like, when you Google something like that, it doesn't just pop right up in your face. You really have to do some, not digging, but back in the day, the Wild Wild West of the internet, like, if you typed in somebody's name like that, it would just show it right on images. Like, 2 men, very much in love. So,
No, if I Google
didn't
my
help
name,
me in high school. It didn't help me, just in my, I don't know. Just seeing the images didn't help me at all.
I'll say you Google my name, you'll find the other David Blankenship only because he did run some NASCAR races. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I think ran a few Busch Series races.
Yeah.
I don't remember the car number.
Cheers, Dad. Yeah, so your favorite track, Southside, your favorite division, because you've raced a couple of them now.
Man, favorite division. That's a hard one. Because they've all been fun. They've all had their moments. I wanted to say,
Shannon?
I don't
We
know.
can cut to him when you're struggling.
Yeah, I'm struggling
I'd
here.
say
I'm going to come back to you.
grand stocks and modifieds, you could drive the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you ever drive a street stock back in the day?
Never have. I did a late model. I drove for my dad for a little while. And that late model's all about finesse. It's all about resources, who can get the best setup and finesse on being smooth.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the grand stocks and modified, you got to drive the piss out of them.
Yeah. Overdrive them on purpose, but I think that street stocks were actually a little bit easier to drive. They weren't easier to drive, but here's the thing about grand stocks. The tires do end up heating up so bad when you drive them like that. By the end of the race, now you're really having to drive the shit out of it. As opposed to a street stock with the radials on it, the tires never get really too hot. They can't get but so hot as opposed to a race tire will just melt the whole damn thing off there. So you could drive the shit out of a street stock, and because of the radial tires, I don't know if it's the surface area between the channels cooling the tire off the whole time or what, but just the radial tires wouldn't get as hot, and it wouldn't fall off as bad, and it didn't get it so slick by the end of the race, like a grand stock sometimes does. If you really overdrive a grand stock for 3 laps, you really have a situation on your hands. And in my opinion, overdriving is like way overdriving. So you got to relate a little bit, but you know what I'm saying.
I'll say when I first got into the U cars, we had it was a street tire, but it was camber cut, and we got it from the track.
Really?
But they would start after a few races.
Southside Speedway was selling street tires.
It was a cambered cut tire.
Southside Speedway was selling it.
Yeah, we bought the tires from the track. I forget exactly.
I don't know about all that. I can't comment. That's the fifth on that one.
I'll say
What's up, Mike Rudy?
Because we were running, you had either a 13, a 14, or a 15-inch tire.
You could choose?
Well, it all depends on what your car came with.
Oh, wow. What's
And
up, Wayne Thompson?
And I was actually running aluminum wheels then, too.
What year was this? 1994? What is this?
05.
Y'all were still, obviously, stock rims, but not only stock rims, but different size
sizes.
rims, and then different, wow.
I'll say I had an Escort GT.
So what would everybody try to get? The car with the smallest wheels for better launch?
I said the Cavaliers were the ones.
You know what I'm saying with that?
Yeah,
You
change
know what I
your
mean?
ratio a little bit. You'll turn up a little quicker.
Right.
It's all what you want. I mean,
I guess it depends on which transmission each car has in it.
So I think the Cavaliers.
You're not
were
changing the
running 14s.
transmission in those days where you... What?
So I think the Cavaliers were on 14s back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there was one Geo Storm that was running a 13-inch tire, and he was always really competitive. Dwayne Bryant, he was always up front.
Geostorm. I wonder what inspired him to... Oh, who knows?
ain't that a tiny ass car?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not real big,
Yeah.
but it fit the class.
He ran pretty well in it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
dude.
he won a couple of races.
Well, the Beretta, the Allen's Chapman drove it for a while. The Beretta, Chevy Beretta, you know what that is?
Yeah, that was like Cavalier, wasn't it?
Uh,
Similar to it.
You know what it is?
I'm just reading Chapman's. He said Dodges and Probes were fast. So a
Yeah.
Beretta, that's that a Ford?
No,
Or
it's a Chevrolet.
Chevy.
Yeah. It looked really different, though. They looked badass, if you ask me, dude, because they looked like almost like an... I'm going to say this wrong because I haven't seen one in a long time. But almost like an old Fox body Mustang or something like that. Just, I don't know. I really liked them, but...
Yeah, Chapman's right on what he said the tires were.
What is
They
your
were,
favorite...
Sumo Tuto, whatever.
Sumitomo.
Yeah.
What is your favorite local drivers in each division? We'll go through, and for you, we'll do. It could be Southside or Dominion. Combine them. Bandoleros. Do you know any of them?
I don't know any Bandoleros. Not yet. My son wants one.
What about Legends?
Legends, I'm going to go with Carter Wheaton. I think that's how you say his name.
Carter Wheaton. Is he still running?
I don't think so, not right now.
Well, you can't go with him. Okay. All
Well,
right.
if I got to go with a current driver,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go with Tommy Jackson.
Okay, that sounds better. What about you on the Bandos and the Legends, Shannon?
Bandos and Legends. You got one of the Bandos that's kind of affiliated with the Woods crew.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
18,
Probably gonna
I
get
think
in
is
trouble.
the number. 18
But,
or
yeah.
19.
I like to keep up with that group. They're a good group of people. Legends. Tommy Jackson Jr. I mean, he's the goat of the class right now.
He
So,
is.
Richard McGee said, if I remember, DD won a championship the last year he raced.
He did
Tell me
win the
about that. I gotta grab
championship.
beer.
I don't remember what year that was. I know at one point he was driving a Geo Storm.
You won a championship at Southside?
Didi did.
He did.
But I think he was in a Beretta when he won that, though. Trying to... Man, that's a long time ago.
I ain't never heard of DD.
Oh, he was a crazy cat. He was cool, though.
Well, there's a lot of them around there.
Well,
Especially you talk about Dominion and Southside now.
I'll say, to be a race car driver, you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
You can't be afraid to drive it down in that corner.
balls deep, right?
That's right.
That's what I've heard.
And take your buddies out.
Nah, been there, done that. At least I didn't do it on a racetrack, but
No.
you just got payback when we caught on fire. So,
I had no control. I got knocked stupid.
nah, you push the clutch in for the brake, it'll be all right.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go.
I thought the clutch made you go faster when you went into the corner.
It did make you go faster, straight to the wall.
I was gonna say the only DD I ever knew wasn't that the mom from Rugrats. How old are you? Were you a Rugrats fan?
I've
think
seen
Ru-
Rugrats, but I don't know that. I don't know DD.
I might be a little young. Wasn't that the mom in Rugrats?
I don't know.
Somebody fact check this. Also, I couldn't tag David Blankenship or Shannon Marano because we were having so many technical difficulties. So please like and share the video now, so that way their friends and family. Or did you already share it?
Kyle said bad times.
Did you already share it?
No, I did not.
If you can, if
I
you're not on an airplane anyway, just go ahead.
I took it off.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's working, so we ain't got no problems. But yeah, like and share for us, please. What was the next division? I guess U-Cars would be the next division. Who's your favorite U-Car driver of all time?
Of all time?
You start thinking, Shannon.
Of all time? U-Car?
Yeah.
Damn it now.
I don't know any good U-Car drivers that I want to pick. I guess I'd go with my brother.
Lazy answer. Just kidding.
I mean, I could say
You
Zach.
have to.
I could say Zach, but then again, that's my cousin.
Zach Lindsay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. One of the best saves I've ever seen was Ronnie Vance at Southside.
That was a big one. I think it's got like 15,000 views.
He was turned way past. I mean, he's pointing backwards. And save that son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was about 75 degrees.
every
45 would be, yeah.
Didn't Chapman turn him? Or who got him?
He turned himself across the nose of Josh Thomas.
Is that who it was?
He came up on him across the track, didn't know he was there, and got turned towards the wall and saved it.
Jamie Height too, man.
No,
He doesn't race a lot, but when he's there, I mean, he's always a contender.
Yeah. No,
Jimmy?
I know.
I mean, y'all,
that was, I think, my pick originally, and still to this day, pretty much.
both you and your brother. I mean, y'all always contenders. Chapman. I mean,
The U-Car class has got a lot of talent.
no
in
doubt.
All different kinds of places.
Yeah, no, it is a tough division to have. Like, if you are a beginner and you come into that division, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, you don't stand a chance at the beginning.
That's the
There's
only
like
car I
5,
haven't.
6, 7 fast guys.
That's the only car I haven't driven. I need to get in one.
Is Alex Ayers watching this?
I bet you Ty Ruggles will let you get in one.
Alex will let you drive his.
I might need to get in one just to try it. I ain't never.
They're fun.
I've driven everything else.
I'll say anytime I get a chance to get back in one.
Last time he was in when he wrecked it in the wall, he said it's fun.
It wasn't my fault though.
I know. No, I'm not blaming you. But still, just
Well, it's frustrating. for
wrecking,
me.
whether it's your fault or... I'd say wrecking when it's not your fault is even less fun. At least when you reckon it's your fault, you're like, ah.
The bad thing is the car owner told me he'd give me $150 to wreck it. I still ain't seen that money, by the way, Todd.
All right, Todd. You have been called out. You owe this man $250. Or 150? What did you say?
$250 sounds better.
$250. Okay.
He told me $150.
You owe him $250,000 in Bitcoin.
Man, I need you to.
In Dogecoin. Dogcoin?
Doji.
Doggy coin.
I don't know anything about that stock stuff.
You owe him 250 pebbles of pedigree dog food. All right. Grand stock or any street stock type division. It gets confusing with those. Can't pick yourself.
Favorite driver? I'm going to go with Jamie Neely. Only because the last race I ran at Southside, me and him ran 8 laps side by side and never once touched. But I enjoyed racing with him. He was always clean, and he always gave me a lot of pointers.
Who was on the inside? Y'all should have touched. What about you, Shannon?
I was on the inside.
Oh, yeah, you should have touched him.
Grand stocks. At least who I've raced with. Neely was fun to race with. I mean, we've had some skirmishes.
Neely's going to be excited. I don't think Neely watches the show, but
No,
really
he
gets
ain't much
Facebook
on social media.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Bobby
I know y'all
Curtis,
tell people that all the time.
we've ran pretty hard together. I haven't ran our Grand Stock at Dominion, so I can't comment on any of them.
All-time fave.
All-time fave. Man, that's pretty tough.
Chapman said, damn, you didn't even pick Gary Burt.
I like Gary's my boy.
Doesn't
Gary's
sound
great.
like it.
Donnie
I'm
Newman.
not trying to start
I
John
see
Flair.
that Richard
Oh, no.
McGee said Donnie Newman. Donnie Newman was pretty badass in his day.
Because of Donnie Newman was, and it's shout out 69. I told David before the show started. I said, you're not allowed to pick Gary. You know that, right? So that's why I didn't pick Gary.
Well, I haven't
See, I
really.
let you off the hook there.
Well, I haven't really raced much. We ran a few races at Dominion together, but
Was that the same car that he
No.
had?
So the car he's driving now is the one that I've been running, or that I ran for years. He actually still has his car. So
And you still have your car, and he's driving that one.
Yeah.
He's driving for your dad.
he's driving for my dad. He's
Okay.
driving my dad car, the one I won all the races in.
And who do you think's better?
What, between me and him? I think I got to give him a lot of credit because the night I drove his car, I come on the radio and I think Daniel Thomas was spotting for me. And I said, look, if the caution doesn't come out soon, I'm going to be the caution. I said, I don't know how he drives this car this loose. I literally felt like I'd go in the corner and just barely turn the wheel, and the thing would just try to drift all the way around the corner.
Oh, yeah, David don't like a loose car now. Yeah,
It's got to be tight.
That's how he got his name, you know?
the old fidget spinner in the works, but I mean...
That was also because you started in U-Car. I went the opposite way. So going, you know what I mean? Like, if you go from U-Car to where you're baking the car into the corner, dude. See, that was my problem when I got into U-Car. I couldn't go into the corner fast enough. I'd always let off way too soon. So I was so used to big, heavy cars. You doing the opposite. You started off in U-Car, and then you're ready. Not only do you go in super hot, not that you do, but in a U-Car you do. You go in super hot, and then you just hammer back into the gas. In a Grand Stock, that's like nightmare. You know what I mean? So you had the hardest learning curve, in my opinion, to do or anybody that goes from U-Car to, you know, any rear-wheel drive, high-powered car, because you're so it's almost like a different sport. I've said that before. It's almost like softball versus baseball because the front-wheel drive factor.
Yeah, I think that's what got me in trouble when I first got into the U-Cars and got the fidget spinner name was I was driving in so deep, so far.
You got that name in U-Car? I thought you got the name in Grand Stock.
in Grand Stock.
Okay,
I think that's why. I think that's why I got it when I first started.
Where you did.
No, in U-Car actually. When I first started racing, I never spun other than one time when Tabitha Lifford got into my left rear and turned me, which it wasn't her fault. She kind of slipped and hit me. Well, I guess
probably was.
Tag Tabitha right now.
But
we're going to settle this.
I mean, she come over and apologized for me.
Yeah,
I say she come down and was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I was like, it's all good. But when I first got into the Grand Stocks, it was, like you said, drive as far down into that corner, try to turn the car and get back into gas as quick as possible. And, yeah, that didn't work. And
the brakes never do work in those cars until they finally do. That's the problem with those cars, too. Because they all, and for the cage to go up front, they all take out the power brakes. If I ever build another Grand Stock, I'm keeping the brake booster and the power brakes in it. And I'm braking with my toes, not my whole leg.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
We got some pretty good brakes on ours.
On the Grand Stocks?
Mm-hmm.
You're a liar. Do you have power brakes?
No.
Well, it sounds like you have good brakes. Late models don't have power brakes either, do they?
No, you get different compounds. More aggressive, less aggressive, big. You can run different size piston, master cylinders, different piston calipers, steel or aluminum calipers.
Mike Chapman, because you're just that great.
I did it. Grand Stocks for super easy to drive, and after being in a U-Car, U-Cars drive stupid. Well, here's the thing, guys. I just had a realization. I've never won a race in a car that did not have power brakes. All my street stocks had power brakes, and all the U-Cars I've ever raced. I never won in Grand Stock. I've never won without power brakes. Is that weird?
Shit, y'all got more than I got. I ain't ever won.
What do you mean? You never won a race?
No, sir.
I thought because
I'm a loser up in
Were
here.
you the number 6 car in the late models back in the day?
Correct.
He should have had one win, but I think Dotson spun him out with a few laps to go.
See, I thought for sure you won a couple
No,
races.
I mean, we ran
Did
pretty
you win
sporty.
the points that year?
What's that?
Did you win the points that year?
We've finished top 5 before, and
you were second.
Had a couple seconds for a while, and we almost won a Grand Stock championship.
Yeah,
we would have won it if the rear wouldn't have broke, but we lost that by 1 point, and didn't even win a race that year.
I remember that now, man. That made me cry.
That was your rookie season too in the Grand Stock.
I think it was, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in an underfunded, not underfunded, but it was the lesser car.
It was, and we made the best of what we had. We had a hell of a team.
Yeah.
Hell of a sponsor, hell of a team.
You did really well driving it, I will be honest. I think you were the best driver that car ever had seen in not its entirety, but in the near future or
other than
past
Tommy
of
Tatum. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. He was a long time ago. That car got thrown around. You know, I drove it.
Mm-hmm.
My brother drove it. Cameron drove it. Jay drove it. I think that's his name.
Chapman drove it.
But I think you did better with
it
than anybody. So I don't know, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's just I remember just knowing that story at the time, knowing that because I've always been friends with Bo, and obviously he was a big part of that car, and he told us about the rear braking, and I was like, oh my god.
Was it the Auburn unit that broke?
It stripped the pinion gear in the ring. I mean, it ripped stuff all apart on the warm-up laps.
See, I've never had one come apart like that. I've had a whole bunch of Auburn units go bad.
It's up.
And then they become really, really loose.
Shout out to Fuller Photography, Andrew Fuller Photography, for the photo that we're looking at on screen. I didn't take the tag off. It never had one on there, apparently. Fuller. So edit a little tag into all of your photos, and I'll rep it on here. I don't mind. I didn't take it out of there.
I must not have been real tight in the seat.
How come?
You can see where my headrest is.
Why is your window net in your back seat?
I don't know.
You need a longer window net, what it looks like, don't it?
It looks like one of those Grand Stocks I was telling you about at Bristol, where the damn cage is way back there, and because in those cars too, their nets are like way, damn, it's like way back in the back window of a Monte Carlo. And you're like, holy shit.
Maybe he's up on the wheel. We'll give him that. We'll just say he's up on the wheel. Go ahead, boy.
I like it.
Holding on.
Favorite modified driver of all time?
I think that might have been one of the last races with
Did
that
I
car.
ask you your favorite Grand Stock driver of all time? I might have cut you off.
We did. Little Reno.
Reno?
Little Reno's pretty badass.
He's your favorite of all time?
I can't say I've got a favorite. There's so many of them that you could classify in a group of the badasses.
Okay. No, that's fine. I don't throw any shade. What about modified? Y'all can't pick yourselves. You can pick him and he can pick you, I guess.
No, I ain't doing all that.
Though. No offense to no offense to Ethan Harris, the other one, but
A good
that'd be
modified
gay.
driver?
So I'm saying, what?
I said a good modified driver? I mean, he's okay.
No, your favorite of all time.
Oh, my favorite of all time.
It's the favorites game. We're playing favorites.
Damn it. I keep forgetting. I hate to say it to him.
Shannon?
Nah, he's getting ready to say something. It is what it is.
I'll say, I'd go with him, but I also go with Kyle Wood. I mean, you got to think what he does with the underfunded stuff, and especially him. He's underfunded too. I mean, they do a lot with a little. I think, the underdogs.
See how they talk about when you only have one car? They're like, I'm just kidding. I agree. No, I picked Kyle Wood personally, just because I've always been a Kyle Wood fan and I've always known those guys. But
I've known him for a really long time too.
Oh yeah.
I say I enjoy going to track with him, and he's going to get a win this year.
We'll call it.
It's coming.
We'll call it Shannon because Kyle gets a lot of love on the show, and he's already been on the show once too.
Well, I appreciate it.
Ronnie Vance.
You gonna win this
Stinson.
year?
No, you still ain't
Who's
getting
your
my
favorite?
beer though.
Didn't get your what?
My beer.
He was supposed to get you a beer.
He don't drink anymore. Ever since he rolled the truck, he don't drink much.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, not too far from here.
Really?
Yep.
Hammered drunk?
Yep.
Damn, dude.
He said, "Hold my beer."
And now he won't hold one anymore. He said, "Hold my beer," and he never took it back.
That'll sober you up real quick.
What, at the S turns right down there?
It was actually on Koala. I was coming home, and my dad actually lives up here in Donegal Glen. Mm-hmm. And I had just crossed over the bridge, was going up the hill, making that swooping right, and deer ran out in front of me, and I swerved and missed. Mm-hmm. Went off on the right or on
that
the
old
left.
drunken deer.
Well, the bad thing is when we were leaving, the cop goes, "Hey, look, there's deer standing right there." I said, "Yep, right where I told you." It happens. I use it as a learning lesson.
Did you end up getting it, well, we don't have to talk about your legality problems or whatever.
It got
This
dropped.
is years
It got
ago?
dropped years ago.
Okay, good.
2007.
Just past the statute of limitations?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So where did they write you a ticket? Did you get a DUI?
I started off as that, but got dropped to a reckless.
Look at this guy's white privilege right
Lucky man.
But it was a wake-up call, though, and after looking at the truck and realizing, hey, I may not be here right now if, somebody wasn't looking out for me. So,
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
there wasn't a straight panel left on that truck.
Oh, yeah. When you hit them, when you wreck them the right way, there isn't.
Oh, the tow truck driver the next day told me it took him 2.5 hours.
Was the cop standing there and he pulled the old Days of Thunder on you and there was like one good door left and he kicked it and he's like, I wouldn't want you to be spoiled, know?
Nah. They were too busy trying to figure out where I was bleeding at, but it was coming from my hand and me rubbing my head.
Oh, damn. That ain't good. You were all right, though? Did you,
Oh, yeah, I was fine. I was fine, just not happy with myself. Not my brightest moment.
Yeah, me neither. I cried like a little bitch. I was like 18 though, but still, it wasn't, I mean, I was still a grown man. What about you, Shannon? What is your favorite modified driver of all time?
I'm probably grouping them still. I mean, right now you got some dominant drivers. I mean, you got the Johnson, Chris Johnson, who's kicking ass.
Yeah.
You got Rudy kicking ass, and the Hummets were kicking tail at damn Dominion. But I mean, if you have to go over a long time, I mean,
Did you say the purple people eaters?
I like your coat. It's purple, man. Yeah. But if you go for a long while, I mean, back in the day, I mean, you got Stinson, Beluso, God rest his soul.
I know. I
Matt
feel like
Car-
everybody should have picked him.
Matt
you
Carter
asshole,
is
David. You
stomping
didn't pick
tail right now,
Beluso.
too.
You didn't. We're shutting down the show. I'm just kidding.
Man, I'm getting
That's
this
the
show shut
second
down.
time we've got to
I
get a
know.
book out
No,
on
you're
it.
doing good. I think it's awesome. I think it's just funny though that no, well, it's not funny. It's probably the wrong term for it. But yeah, we should have just said Beluso. And my favorite bandolier driver is Leighton Harrison. I'm going to say that too. B.J. Anderson, my lift to the strip now. I don't know what they're talking about. One of them's going to the strip club and stuff.
Kyle Fowler, he's in Las Vegas bowling right now.
I'll say him and Joe, two guys that I bowl with, they're actually in Vegas for bowling.
Kick ass,
Okay.
Kyle.
So
To the strip? Okay, to the New York, the Las Vegas strip.
Go to strip club. Hell for strip. Hit the strip club on the strip.
Yeah.
go to Fremont Street. Just hang out down there.
Yeah, but we got to shout out to, because I don't, as messed up as it sounds, obviously the Beluso thing happened a while back, and I don't think anybody's picked him since then, but I never thought about it to call them out. But yeah, good point. Shout out to Sean Beluso as a favorite modified driver. At least somebody's got to pick him. I'll pick him for the night.
The man was smooth
You got-
behind the wheel.
I'm not good at singling picks out. I just get good with groups.
Yeah, so far Shannon, every time I ask him who's his favorite driver, he just gives his top 20 list of drivers of each division. I'm like, okay, that'll work. Can we put them in order at least or something? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't write this shit down, man.
It's kind of hard because, I mean, when you've been around the track so long, you develop a liking for a lot of people.
I know.
So
No, you're right. Shannon is indefinite, but you like a lot of them. You already listed them, but what about your favorite NASCAR driver?
Mine right now, I wish Boyer was still in it. Boyer was awesome, man.
I'd love to hang out with him one
His
weekend.
personality and
He's coming on the podcast next week.
Sweet. I'm
bring
coming.
Boyer on. I want to come over for that.
Yes.
I'll bring the beer and a keg
Okay.
Yes.
and the shine. But Kevin
I
Harvick, I like him.
Shocked you ain't bringing
He's
a shot.
cool. But some of the newer cats coming up, man. I think Blaney's going to be pretty damn good.
I'll
Yeah.
say that's my pick. Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman. I like those two.
Those are your favorite drivers of all time?
Well, no, for right now.
All right.
Current.
Those are your present drivers. What about past? We can separate
Jeff
these.
Gordon. I was always a Gordon fan.
Were you? Okay.
Mhm.
He liked rainbow stuff. So
I
it's
did.
all right.
Hey,
I'd say my
you should check out my YouTube channel. I mean, my OnlyFans. Sorry. My YouTube channel is just normal.
OnlyFans. Here we
We're
go.
on my YouTube channel right now. It's nothing weird.
I got-
Uh-oh, your chassis flexed out.
Yeah, check out my Pornhub channel.
think I
Probably drivers of all time, NASCAR, is probably Ricky Rudd and Kenny Schrader.
Okay, I like that answer. Ricky Rudd was what he still holds the title to this day, I think, for most consecutive starts.
I think so.
Yeah,
Iron Man.
I say he was called the Iron Man.
The Rooster.
Yeah.
Doing a interview. Wasn't he the one that did the interview laying on his back?
Yeah.
He
Was
just
it
got out of the
Mark-
car,
Was
yeah.
it in Martinsville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't even around yet. He got COVID and raced with it and shit. He was a badass.
Mm.
That's what I heard. But, yeah, he raced, I think, like 500 starts in a row or something,
If not more than that.
which is like 10 or 11 years, 12 years.
Is he the one that had his
Crazy.
eyes taped open too?
Yeah, that was after a wreck at Daytona. One of the big tracks, Daytona or Talladega.
Drivers today would never do that.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. 'Cause, my dad was in NASCAR at the time. I remember seeing him in his hotel room after that accident.
Dude,
It was
Ricky
hell.
Stenhouse didn't start a race earlier this year because his paint on his nails hadn't dried yet. I mean, it's getting out of control out there, you know?
Danica painted his nails.
I think they broke. I don't know. What is the situation with them?
They did. They did.
There's Who knows?
I'm sure some of these drivers won't even race if they didn't take their Midol, man. I mean, it's
True.
it ain't all about driving anymore. It's about how much money you bring.
I know. That's a shame.
It ain't about
Well,
talent.
I think Bowman. I think he got to where he is with talent. I think Blaney kind of did too.
Blaney had his last name and his dad going for him, but
Yeah.
he's kind of proved himself.
I think he kind of had to prove himself though.
I agree. I'm not doubting that these guys didn't end up being good, but it's just like saying, it's like right after saying, like Austin Dillon gets a win, you're like, he really worked for this one. You're like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like, he has raced a lot, but there's no comparison to a guy, which doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, he did work a lot compared to whoever he's beating, because nowadays there is no guy that went through the local divisions and climbed his way up, because you have to start truck racing at 15. So I don't know. It's pretty hard to be, very adverse in racing and have a lot of experience and have to climb your way through the ranks when literally the kids that are winning races have a Kyle Busch Motorsports ride at 15 years old that their dad bought them. You know what I mean? So things like that make it to where that story can't even exist anymore. But these people back in the day, like you're talking about, it was real, Ryan Blaney, I don't think is a good example because his dad has such a name, and they have enough money to where he's raising late models at like 16 and shit like that. For my family growing up, that would never happen. I had to buy my own first street stock at 16 years old. So like,
when I got into it, my parents made me buy everything. They said, "Do you want to do it? We'll support you.
Yeah.
But you're paying for everything."
And even now, your dad's helping you, but it's not like you've got a Xfinity car sitting in the garage. You know what I mean? So like that's different. That's a different level of investment, and that shouldn't be the only pool that they're pulling from as far as, but it's all about, like I said, sponsorships and
who can bring the biggest amount of money.
Yeah, but when you do that for enough years in a row, not that the sport's like in trouble, but you could end up eventually killing the sport because you never bring in personalities, you never bring in an actual good driver, somebody like wants to watch drive. You just bring in people that have a good sponsor, and then the sponsor and the legality of the financial side works out of it, but the sport doesn't grow because of there's no interest. Does that make sense?
Oh, I totally get it. I mean, if it come for bang for your bucks, I'd say Kyle Larson's probably your best driver out there.
Well, and I think like the Priest,
Kyle Busch too. I mean, anything both those drivers get in, they drive the shit out of.
Yeah,
Kyle Busch seems like he has to have practice though. Whereas Larson looks like he can just jump in and go.
Yeah.
Dirt, asphalt. I mean, granted, he had a mishap on something stupid in NASCAR, and they smacked his hand, I should say.
I didn't know where this was going. We already talked about homoerotic type stuff. It's like, what? I don't know if we were going back over to my, OnlyFans page or something. But,
Ethan, you're getting a truck ride. Look at that, man.
It's not even mine. Oh, nice. And not only that, but like back in high school, obviously, at least fans only and all that kind of stuff wasn't a problem. I've told this joke before, but at least it helped me a little bit because I'd meet a girl or something like that. They'd learn my name, and I'd say, I'm a porn star too. And they're like, what? Like, you're 17. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, just look me up. This is back in the day when like you'd have to go home and like you didn't have internet on your phone. So you'd have to go home and like do dial up and look it up if you wanted to find something like this. And not only that, but you had to find time to do it because we were in like middle school or high school or whatever like that. So like a couple days later, they would return and be like, "Hey, I looked you up. Like that's not even you. That's just some other guy." And he's like, having sex with guys and stuff like that. And I'm like, "You were looking though, huh? You would go out tonight?"
Chapman just made a good point. Josh Berry's a good person right now to show, hey, you can make it somewhere
late in life.
Well, yeah.
I think it is swinging back around. Yeah, not late in life. He's not old. He's not an old man, but he's not one of these 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
That's why I was going to say the Priest. He did his thing in modifieds for long enough to where he finally got an Xfinity ride. He did well there. And now he's got, I don't know if he still has it, but he had a full-time Cup ride.
Well, I think he had a little bit of sponsorship behind him because I want to say, wasn't he running like a full-time deal for an underfunded team and then said, no, instead of running the full season, I'm going to go to Gibbs and take my money and run, I think, 6 races or 4 races?
You tell me, David.
I think he's running for Daltrey right now.
Well, yeah, he's running for Daltrey now, but I'm saying like when he got into
not-
NASCAR.
I know, but, well, maybe, but it sounds like he went back to the first part of his story where he's driving an underfunded car for whatever reason.
I kind of feel like Bowman kind of got to where he is off of talent. I mean, you think he got put in the car because he was the sim driver for Hendrick, and Junior said, hey, he's driven a couple of nationwide rides, or Xfinity rides for us.
Is that how Bowman got discovered?
Well, he was running the underfunded teams like the starting parks, and then he went and stopped doing that and jumped into working for Rick Hendrick. Figured he'd just do the testing. He was doing all their testing.
Yeah.
And then Junior got hurt, and Junior said, put him in the car.
But it's not quite the same as like Ty Majeski, who literally just played iRacing until they gave him a call and were like, hey, you can drive a real car? He's like, I guess. And then he's like, wins every race from then on, like undefeated probably. Not really, but he wins a lot. And he did well right from the get-go.
Yeah, he did well in the super late models.
And this is, we're going full circle here on Turn Left Podcast. You said that iRacing and all that stuff doesn't matter. It's just a video game. This man had never even driven a PT Cruiser, probably.
I've never really done a whole lot.
He got into a
on the
late
iRacing.
model. I know that he got into a late model and beast moded from pretty much get go. So I mean, I think the late model stuff does have. I think it does have value.
I
mean, the
agree.
iRacing
It does.
stuff. Did I say the late model stuff? The iRacing stuff does hold a lot of value to. If you can do that, you can go out there and at least be competitive.
You can get your points. You can get your kind of visual going on, but you can't get the feel by the seat of your pants.
Not at all.
I mean, unless you got one of these Fuku's $1,000 rigs, but I mean,
you can't at all.
It helps.
Here's the thing, like when I went
breaking
from
points. And
yes, I agree, but that's a feel thing that you learn. Like when you go to a new track, like when you go to a new track, you're not like getting lapped. You're not that bad. You know what I'm saying? If you already know how to race, even if you haven't raced, it's almost just like a guy that already knows how to race going to a new track. He's going to have to refigure out his points, but he knows the fundamentals of the sport. You know what I mean? How to drive the track, so on and so forth. Does that make sense a little bit?
yeah.
Like, and that'd be different if it was a first-time driver that was like some freshman in high school that, you know, had barely ridden a bicycle before. But I think this is different. Kind of like Ty Majeski. He had so many hours in iRacing that he literally got in the car and was just like, he knew kind of what to do.
I'd be curious to know how long from doing the iRacing to when he won his first race was.
It was his first race. Just like Tanner and Marano at Shenandoah Raceway, everybody root for Tanner Griffith in the 32 Black Rocket.
I think
I
I
have
saw
to watch
somewhere
it
in your
more.
comments where somebody said he better get up on the wheel and go.
He's got to get up on the wheel.
You gonna give him a pep
I heard he
talk
borrowed a motor from that car right there. So,
from that car?
what's up, John? And Charlie and Brandy. That's your wife, isn't it?
Yes.
Shout out to her.
That motor's actually in a car now.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So your car is for sale as a roller?
As a roller.
How much?
10.
10,000.
But and he can tell you right now, if you come over and look at that car,
Oh, I'm not doubting it's worth
well, I'll say the way that there was no corner cut on that car.
Come with the chrome rims?
There's chromies on it.
I've got one at my house if you need it to.
Put it on there for 11. You got chromes too?
No, I don't run chromes much. I like the
You
black.
got a modified for sale?
No, no. I've only got one. I'm not selling it.
It's a peasant. I'm just kidding. I don't have any race cars, like I said, so I'm not being truthful. We're going to find out. Ronnie's excited. Tanner came by the other night. He didn't seem too nervous, so maybe that's a good thing. Did you ever say who was your favorite NASCAR driver? You said
Jeff Gordon was my old driver,
You're
and
old
now
school.
I go for Bowman and Blaney.
Yeah. Here's a quick segment. How long have we been going? Does anybody know?
It is. Damn, it's 11:40.
Okay,
Hell
we've been
yeah.
going over.
Well, we've got a lot of technical difficulties.
Well, I think
Yeah.
William Byron is the one that had all the simulator stuff going on, and the junior picked him up. Is that how that worked?
William Byron was definitely one of them, but Ty Majeski was like the all-time biggest
Is he still?
iRacing points leader. Like, he started playing it early.
He was ranked number 1 in iRacing at one point. I don't
That's
know if
the
he
thing.
still is.
That's what got him the ride.
Yeah.
That's when, like, he, they offered stuff to him because he had, like, done so much, in iRacing that it was like, we can't deny this guy. He's clearly, he might not be good at driving a race car, but he's clearly good at whatever this sport is.
I think
If that
he's
makes
got
sense.
a truck ride coming up here soon.
Because it's not like a baseball video game either. where you just hit a button and you swing the bat. Like, you have to hit the button at the right time. Like, you're literally, it's a simulator. So you're literally turning the wheel and everything. You're driving the car almost like you really would. And, yeah. You said he's got a truck ride?
Yeah, I think Ty's got a truck ride coming up in Charlotte or something. I think I read that somewhere.
Badass.
With Thorspart.
All right, everybody. We got to get off here. I got to smoke 19 cigarettes in a row. This podcast is sponsored by Sarah K. Speed Shots. On Point Woodworks. Check out this heat one more time.
Hardwood.
My tiny ass arms can barely pick it up. It's got 4,000 pounds of lacquer, I think is what it's called on it. Is it upside down? No, it's right.
No, you're good.
Woo! Look how shiny it is, too.
Slide it to your left a little more.
Damn.
Get On Point on there.
It looks
Oh, you're
slippery,
right.
just like my OnlyFans account. It's not actually mine. It's the other guy's, but go check it out. This podcast is sponsored by the other Ethan Ayers' OnlyFans account. And thank you, David and Shannon, for coming out. Do you want to plug any sponsors or anything like that before you guys
I wish
head out? But we hit the end button, you know what I'm saying?
I wish I had some. More than welcome to have some people on board if they need to be
A
or
lot of
want to
open-
be. Not need to be, but want to be.
A lot of open panels on a lot of race cars.
So
Support your local track. I think that's the best thing.
you
Yeah.
got to.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Times are
sponsors you wanna
recovering
put up?
now.
Left Turn Podcast, that's the only thing on the car.
What is that?
I don't know.
Turn Left Podcast.
Oh.
Christ.
Jesus.
Damn it, son.
When people do it online, I think that they're messing with me.
Oh, Mikey Earhart, what's up, bro?
I give you a hard time this whole thing. It's at least, and I actually owe you a sticker. If I would have given it to you, you could look down at
Yeah,
it
see,
for
I-
reference.
see, maybe you need a big one like right here.
I've got a sign right there.
Well, it's right there. It's behind me.
I know.
That's
It is-
behind. That's behind a
it's good
monitor.
excuse. I need one over there. They're kind of like remind the people. I actually
So,
thought
so
it
you're
was-
looking at it every time.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any on the car other than my dad. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't get to do what as a kid wanted to do.
Well, shout out to your pops. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Double shout out to everybody. What's up, Mikey Earhart? I think you're here late. I don't know, but you can catch it back. Shout out to everybody that liked the video or loved the video. If you hit that love button, we love you. And you know what I'm saying. Not you, but you know, my OnlyFans. Share the video as well, and it'll be up tonight. It'll be up tonight on YouTube, and it'll also be up tomorrow on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the audio platforms, and so on and so forth. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for coming out, David, and
Thank you for
for
having
always
me.
tuning in too, because I know that you tune in a lot of times. So, thank you for that. Thank you, Shannon, for coming
Thank you,
out.
sir, for having us.
And all right, now we get to go shotgun 12 beers in a row.
Come on.
Peace out, everybody.
Oh Lord.
Later.